Come on in here, man. Come on in here. Let me adjust my levels and get this thing ready to go. You're welcome and you're listening to the Ultimate Browns. It's your boy G. Bush and bringing the flavor like he can only do. Cleveland Browns win 13-10 against the Green Bay Packers. It was a big-time win. It was an upset win. Defense played great, but now it's on Tuesday. And now it's time to get to the nitty-gritty and break things down like we always do. The All-22 is out and about. Many missed throws. People is open. And I got to say it. I'm the leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia. I was there when Joe Flacco in 2023 was throwing for 300 every week. And I was telling you he was going to do it. This ain't 2023. I'm going to tell you in this episode why, yes, it was a nice little win. It was a good win, but everything ain't created equally. And let me tell you this. Joe still got to go right here on the Ultimate Browns. Welcome on into the Ultimate Browns, and what I'm going to call this episode is a beacon of light on a hope, right? I'm giving you a reality check today because I think sometimes we didn't got to a point where we didn't listen to these talking heads way too much, and we didn't hear propaganda way too much, where we just believe anything. And I'm asking you in your heart of hearts to listen to some of the words that are coming out of your mouth and figure out, is this really accurate, or is I'm just going along with other people and saying, because it takes critical thinking in life, right? We're going to critically think today right here on this episode of the Ultimate Browns. First and foremost, we'll get to what's going on with Joe Flacco, but throughout the show, we will talk about Dawand Jones. He's out for the entire 2025 season. What does that mean for 2026 and Dawand Jones? And I'll let you know how that applies to the draft. Yes, draft. We'll talk about that coming up here later on in the show. Reaction to the Dawand Jones injury leaves the Cleveland Browns high and dry when it comes to offensive linemen, and there are no guys available to be had out there. If the best guy that you got is Jedrick Wills, and if Jed Wills is the number one available dude on the market right now, that means there is no help coming. Larry Bird is not walking through that locker room. So we'll talk about what that means for the Cleveland Browns, how they go about doing some certain things, and why Dawand Jones' injury gives you more of a reason why you should play younger players. Maybe you didn't think about this, but G. Bush going to spin that. But first, let's talk about this win. First and foremost, let me just start by saying this. I heard this all the time, hey, we can't have nice things. Why don't we just celebrate the win? Bro, you could do two things at once. Again, I always crack up when adults do mental gymnastics about thinking about two things at once and act like they just melt and malfunction. Cannot compute two things at once. We ask kids to do two things at once all the time. We ask your children who have never been away from home to then go in a room full of other children with a crazy adult teacher that they've never met before. And on top of that, we expect them to play nice. Don't yell at people. Keep your hands, feet, and objects to yourself, and actually pay attention for long periods of time. That's called first grade. There's all kind of new things open to your life when you're in first grade. Adults get why can't we just do one thing at once? Don't become that dude on that commercial. Don't become your parents, bro. Commercials is great. The thing I always hear is, well, we won the game, G. Bush. We won the game. Why? You're so negative. Guys, let's stop acting like you're a positive beacon in your life. People say negative stuff all the time. Negativity is part of life. And guess what? Sometimes negativity is the truth. Sometimes I get truth all the time, right? We all get truth. So when you sit here talking about why it is we can't celebrate a win without talking about negative things that happened during the game, I'm sorry. That's just called you just want to stick your head in the sand. That's for there's thousands of other platforms everywhere else that you can put your head in the sand and act like everything is great, right? That's not one of these, right? That's not what G. Bush does. So let's keep it real with this. Browns played a great game. It had nothing to do with the offense, had nothing to do with the play calling. It had everything to do with the defense and how dominant they were. You got to give the credit to them. But this offense, I saw the all-20. Oh, my goodness. The all-22 is nasty work. And at some point in time, we got to come to the conclusion that it's up to your head coach to decide whether or not a guy gives you the best chance to win football games. And right now, it is not debatable. Joe Flacco does not give you the best chance to win football games. Just because you old don't mean experience means you nice. Everybody seems to be slowly but surely coming around. And I told you, it's a levels to this thing right here. When you start talking about this thing called football and you start watching it week in and week out and you're looking around and you be like, man, I'm actually seeing it for yourself. That timetable speeds up very quickly. That timetable get to speeding on you. Like you wake up and be like, wow, I thought it was going to take 10 weeks to get to so-and-so to be quarterback. Nah, they don't work that way because in real time, you start to see who's good and who's not. This is why I love radio. I love UCSS, love what I'm doing and all my other platforms digitally. But the thing about radio is you can get people's reaction real time with that real emotion. This is courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. This is a caller calling into Basket and Phelps in the midday show. And you notice how all they could do is sit here and just nod their head up and down because what this man is saying is not refutable.
One, I was on their side. Game one, I felt like, okay, it's Cincinnati. They said they don't have a defense. Okay, first game of the year, throw that out. Okay. The second game, you missed receivers. The third game, you really missed receivers. That flea flicker play was a touchdown waiting to happen. My kid could have threw that. He still checked it down. He was wide open in the middle of the field. How can you not see that? But I just wanted to say before I go, if we all see the same thing, because I know y'all see what I see. Well, what I see is a veteran quarterback that's trying to keep the locker room together, but he can't see on the field. There are plays that he's leaving on the field every down. After a while, the veterans are going to start turning on that, and they're going to start turning on the coach. Play the young guys and let the defense protect them. Bring them along, give them a scripted plays to run, and you get them some confidence. Stop with this, oh, they're not ready. Well, what do you like about them if they're not ready? I'm lost. If you like him so much, he's grasping the offense so much, what don't you like about him to say he's not ready? Which one is it? He played 6 years in college. If you're not ready now, when the hell will you be ready?
Drake.
Thank you for taking my call.
Drake,
Thank you.
I agree with you completely.
Boom. It's getting late early. Y'all folks with these talking points, with the he's not ready. How many talking points do you have to debunk for people to really stop and say, am I just parroting what other people are saying or am I thinking for myself? The caller so eloquently points out, how is it that you talk all off season about how much you like somebody? You see one dude out there who is melting. He's old. He's not performing up to snuff, and he's holding you back. But you continue to say he's not ready. He's not ready. Was Joe Flacco ready? You could be not ready and be a 55-year-old veteran. My dad is 70 years old. You put him on a computer, he ain't ready. He ain't built for that. You give him too many instructions, he not ready. Just because he's old and has played games in his career does not mean he's ready to go out there and give you the best chance to win. He doesn't. But we keep hearing this stuff. And we're going to talk about this later on. Which is it, folks? Which is it? Are we shell-shocked to the point where we don't have no common sense? This is basic stuff. Your quarterback's not playing well. He's not the dude for the future. You drafted 2 dudes, but yet still you want to say that, but they ain't ready. But all of a sudden you're going to draft another quarterback and they magically going to be ready? And then you seen this class? You seen that magically? But do you say, well, still early? So you telling me you got all the patience in the world for somebody that's not doing it in the college level, not showing you elite tangibles and traits in the college level. You got a coach that's not showing you that you're getting the best plays and the best work out of the quarterbacks he got right now. But you expect them magically through osmosis that if you don't look good in college, you're going to look good because you showed up to the Cleveland Browns. You think Kevin Stefanski going to have a propensity and a playbook for somebody he don't got now? Come on, bro. Reality check. And if you don't believe in it, put it in the comment section. I want to hear it Because just saying they're not ready is not an answer. Whose job is it to get them ready? Let's continue on. This is also courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. Nick Wilson, slowly but surely coming around. Daryl Ryder, slowly but surely, like, you kind of right on this, dog. Take a look what they talk about.
Our argument is Joe gives you the best chance to win. Joe has been a significant reason the last 2 weeks you haven't won, and a significant reason why 2 weeks ago went from a very close game to two of his turnovers being two of the three turnovers that led to 21 points going Baltimore's way, and basically a 21-point swing, which would have made that game a lot more comfortable.
I don't think Dylan Gabriel gives you a better chance to win. I really don't.
How do you know?
Because I watched him in training camp. I don't think he gives. And here's the other thing: how do you sell that to that locker room? Because the locker room loves Joe Flacco.
Yeah, they love him, but they've also watched Joe really flounder the last couple weeks. You'd be going to Dylan Gabriel because Joe Flacco, and it's evident if you watch him, is not playing like Joe Flacco.
Well, the problem
he's not comfortable in what he's being asked to do. He's overthinking everything, and it's apparent as you watch the game. You don't even have to be a football savant to know that.
Well, because Kevin's drilling into his head, don't turn it over.
Yes.
Don't take unnecessary chances.
Yes, and it's not working.
I still believe you give him this week, and then you're 4 games in. And I'm not flip-flopping. I'm being consistent because I said earlier after the Baltimore game, and everyone was ready to make the change then, and I was being asked on every show about switching the quarterback. I said, no. You get through the Detroit game, have Joe start against Green Bay and Detroit because those are 2 Super Bowl contenders. Allow him to take the beating if there's a beating to have to be taken. And then if it's as bad, then going into London against the Vikings, you use the London trip to make your quarterback change.
Do you see? Let me put this up. I only usually do this, but this might not be for everybody. This might not even, some of y'all need to hear this. Some of y'all need to hear this. What kind of mentality is that? Why are we running around here talking about if so-and-so needs to take the beating? I don't want to play for a coach or organization that has that mindset. I don't want to play for a coach that we're going to sacrifice Joe as a sacrificial lamb. Like we going out here to play the doggone Chicago Bears with all bears, literal bears on the field. There are no Grizzlies. There are no polar bears out there. But we walk around with this attitude and mentality as if we don't got, I want somebody, Shedeur Sanders was right. And I wasn't even going to bring him up. I need somebody to change the mindset. And if Kevin Stefanski is drilling in Joe Flacco's head, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, don't turn it over, and he can't throw the ball 25 yards, guess what, Kevin? You're not going to win any games because that is the way you have to win. When did it become that everything about the Cleveland Browns is hold on to your job, play it safe, kick the can down the road, and that's good enough? That's not good enough. And we're the only team preaching that joint. We're preaching that junk, that garbage. What kind of attitude? I can tell a lot of people ain't playing no football because you will get destroyed with that attitude. You have no chance. You will get eaten alive on a football field with guys with that mentality. They are looking for the weak. They are hunting for those guys. Let me smell it in the water. You think Ray Lewis and them, that's a Super Bowl caliber team in the Lions. I remember when the Lions was trash. What happened to getting better? What happened to putting on the field? Get freaking better. Everything is passive. Everything is half empty. Everything is scared. Everything is tentative. You got a defense that's going out there that's a top-notch 1, 2, 3 level defense. You think that they're not cognizant of the fact that they got a rookie quarterback? You think that they can't rise to the occasion? If you got a dude that ain't ready to play right now and need a backup quarterback, why did you draft him? Why? You guys, we refuse to learn from any of it, and I'm not having a conversation about every single week. It's, well, we don't have anything, so we got to get a quarterback. How do you know you don't have anything? Well, if he was good, they would put him in. Listen, these dudes is scared straight. I don't understand it. as I said earlier, these guys are not joining the military. They're not going to an active combat zone. They are playing the Detroit Lions. Do you think I don't want nobody on my team that's feeble enough that if they fail 2 games and get beat, their manhood is swallowed and they just turn to mush the rest of their career? What kind of mentality is that? I need some of them rough ride. I need some of them old. Yeah, people are right. The dog pound here is gone. The dog pound here is gone. All this woe is me and best chance to give you, what do you tell the veterans? I want the veterans to be like, yo, I don't care if the kid is 12 years old. Put him in a game. Let's see what he's working with. Let's see what he's working with. Running around here talking about give you the best chance. You made that up. Did nobody ever say that? I'm tired of people making stuff up. People just make stuff up and keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it. And the whole time, you accepting this stuff and sitting there looking like it's reality. It's not reality. What's in front of your face is he's missing wide open guys. What's reality is he had a 3.9 average. But you make up in your head because it's safe. You think it's the illusion of safetiness. You don't safe your way to winning nothing. You don't safe your way to success in life. You don't safe your way to anything good. Good and success only comes through pain and struggle and learning and difficulty. This fan base is looking for the easy way out at all times. And I don't like, because listen, it's not on y'all. Y'all ain't drafting the players and you ain't coaching them. But I know 2 people that are. And the reality of the situation, you say, how are you mad and upset? Because you're yelling and screaming right now, and we won. I'm yelling and I'm screaming because you only satisfied with that 1. You don't want more. You don't demand more. You could be 2, 3, 6. That ain't even enough. I want the trophy. That's it. I want the trophy. That's it. This is Ultimate Browns. Not ultimate propaganda. I only want the trophy. That's like Jim Donovan wanted the trophy. I want the trophy. I want to see my uniforms on Super Bowl Sunday. That's it. Anything short of that, I don't care. But to get there, you got to make some painstaking decisions. Folks, it don't come easy. And this is one of the easy decisions. Half your best players are rookies. You playing them, but you make up in your mind. And listen, think about this. Think about this. How well is Zach Zenner playing for you? And he's a 3-year veteran, 2-year veteran. Can he get on the football field? How all that experience in the office working with him? Nah, he's just not good at this point. Age don't mean nothing, bro. It's a number. I'm talking about numbers and yards, touchdowns. Let me get back in my zone. DeJuan Jones got hurt. I'm going to tell you why. That's even more of a reason I'm playing young dudes. We'll come back and talk about it. It's G-Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next big bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how action unfolds? How could a $200 bonus in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel? It's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in sports. It's your boy G. Bush. On UCSS, Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, the Browns beat reporter, talked about the need to find a new left tackle of the future, seeing that DeJuan Jones is once again out for the season with a knee injury.
They need to now be looking for their left tackle of the future. I don't think that they can go into next season thinking that they can count on DeJuan Jones, in addition to the fact that his contract will be up after next year, and the fact that he has ended up on injury reserve each of the last 3 seasons. He just wasn't really adjusting all that well to left tackle, and I think they were trying to give him a little bit of confidence or see if they could get it back by popping him over to the right side in this past game. So they've got some issues that they need to work through over the next year on their offensive line, certainly at left tackle.
Listen, it's a little bit more than rework. Let's go to this. Browns offensive line, DeJuan Jones, 3 straight knee surgeries. Left guard Joel Bitonio, free agent, retiring. Ethan Pochins is a free agent. Wyatt Teller is a free agent. Jack Conklin is a free agent, and he's retiring, or could possibly retire, or he is or hurt. At this point, he has elbow injury, has not played in a couple weeks. Swing tackle Cornelius Lucas, who's already thrust into duty, is a free agent after this year. You may see a 5-for-5 overhaul of the offensive line. And when you have a situation like that, you put yourself in a situation where you need, preferably, all the highest picks that you can get. And when you've got a guy like DeJuan Jones who is injured, and trust me, I'm a guy who's battled weight, and I'm a defensive lineman. My brother's an offensive lineman. Once you have surgeries, that weight on your frame is devastating, because now it can cause inflammation. Now you can have swelling. And then when you get swelling, there's a loss of range of motion. There's all these things, man. I've had almost 12, 13 knee surgeries. That's just on the knee. ACLs, PCLs, all that good stuff. So I understand intimately what the uphill battle is. When you're a guy of that size, it's going to be difficult to come back into play. And I've always thought DeJuan had a little bit of a problem already bending. That's why he's not able to generate the amount of leverage and force in the run game, because he is already 6'8" with, upwards of 360, 70 pounds, depending on, when you check. And that weight has to bend and get leverage. I thought that was his issue in that game. He was not moving well in terms of getting back to backside linebackers while he was playing. So one of the things that I look at is, now that you have an offensive line where you have 2 tackles that are swing tackles, the tackle that they got from the Rams, Mary Kay was on today, he graded out 15% pass rush grade. You can't have that. And so my thing is like this. You're looking at this point, and this is why it's so infuriating to me, is because people don't use any common sense and common knowledge, man. You got people that done graduated from universities with book sense and book smarts, but when it comes to this game of football, they don't apply no common knowledge to it. Common sense tells you that here's how this always works. You now have one of the most gaping holes I've ever seen in my life with the offensive line. You're potentially having no starters back. You don't even know what DeJuan Jones is going to be available to play, if he's going to play. You have to operate as if that don't even count. Jack Conklin, you have to operate as that don't even count. You need assets. Tackles aren't cheap. And if you want a really good chance of finding a good one, you have to use high draft picks on them, right? So while you don't have any tackles, it behooves you to do 2 things. 1, find out what quarterback you have. so that you can understand whether or not you're going to get a quarterback next year and have to use picks for him. Also, if a quarterback comes to this offense and can perform admirably without the presence of any tackles, it gives you further information to making that decision. If Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel can play good football and they don't have linemen and they don't have great tools outside with receivers, then guess what? How do you know they're good? Well, guess what? You have an opportunity to prove that to yourself by doing basic scientific analysis. Yeah, let's do a control here. So if these guys can throw the football and play well, and they don't have the best weapons, and their offensive line is the same offensive line that Joe Flacco performed poorly under, if they play well, then that means there's a pretty good chance that they can be a guy you can work with. Is that correct? By the way, Kevin, you want us to all believe in the fact that you're going to get a rookie quarterback and you're going to turn that around and you're going to play well. Well, what better way to give us confidence in you as a play caller and a talent evaluator, Mr. Barry and Stefanski, is if you can actually then take some rookies that you have this year and say, wow, you really performed well with Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. I'm confident in the way they had to plan for him. I'm confident in the way they kept him upright. You see the way that they had a protection scheme ready to go. You see how they had a scripted of plays. They got the ball out of their hands quickly. I love the fact that they had two diverse playbooks for two different quarterbacks. One with a little bit shorter stature, but we took advantage of his strong suits. Another quarterback that's really accurate, can do some things outside of structure. Hey, I like how they did some things with that. You see how you can get good practice at something if you just do it, not think about it. I don't understand it. And the thought process around the world is this. You could just, let me just go down here and grab a fifth-round tackle. Yeah, Zach Zenner worked out well for you. And it goes back to the same thing. They didn't bring any tackles in the offseason. They brought Tevin Jenkins in, right? But they didn't scour the waiver wire and do that at the end of the season when the cutdown day came. They didn't go get any weapons. Here's the problem with that. Here's your issue. You didn't go get those guys. If I would understand and I would shake their hands if they would have just not even made no move for no middle quarterbacks. Don't draft the quarterback in the third round. Don't draft one in the fifth round, and go get linemen. And then you would have had some linemen to play right now, would you? Wouldn't you? And then you wouldn't have had the major issue. And then guess what you could have done? You would have already had two more linemen on the roster now. And guess what? Next year, you have no problem going after quarterback because you didn't get any this year. Simple, right? Sounds like common sense to me. But sometimes with the Cleveland Browns, don't make that much common sense. DeJuan Jones' injury is not just something that hurts them now. The DeJuan Jones injury hurts them moving forward. I'll talk about how the DeJuan Jones, what means for the 2026 draft, and why his injury, not even a quarterback, can put you in a position where you are 3 to 4 years away. I'll explain when we get back. You're listening to G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. Make sure you check it out tonight when you watch right now. The Guardians are in a pennant race right now with the Detroit Tigers. Scooble's on the mound. You know, we got Gavin Williams on the mound. But win or lose, check out the Ultimate Guardians tonight. Adam the Bull will be going live. He'll be going live after every game of the Detroit series. This is pivotal. If the Guardians can pull out this series, they got a good inside track on making the playoffs and actually possibly winning the division. So if you want that Guardians talk, if you want the best Guardians talk in the game, Adam the Bull will keep you covered. Zach Meisel and Ultimate Guardians. It's the place to be. We didn't think we was going to get no baseball, but yes, we are. We're going to get that baseball coming up here. Make sure you check it out, and you can only find this right here on the UCSS Network. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in sports. It's your boy G. Bush right here with the Ultimate Browns. And guess what? DeJuan Jones hurts you now. The offensive line, we talked about it, is a little bit in tatters. The tackles are struggling. You have Joel Bitonio up front, Ethan Poaches and Wyatt Teller. Those are the guys that you really count on. But DeJuan Jones not only affects you now, affects you later on. When you look at DeJuan Jones' injury, they were counting on him to be the left tackle. If you have a left tackle, right, and you have a left tackle of the future that you really counted on, and he was able to stay healthy for all 15 or 17 weeks, it puts you in a situation where now you can go into next year's draft and you can possibly not squint too much to find out whether or not you can get a quarterback then. Because then you have 2 first-round draft picks. You got a tackle. You can say, well, we got Tevin Jenkins. We got some other things. Luke Whippler, we might be able to move him into a center role. Zach Zenner, maybe we put 20 pounds on him. He gets better miraculously. We could try to develop him in the offseason. You got some different things that you can kind of do. But when you don't have a left tackle, and he's going to be not only not in because he's not playing well, but he's injured. So he wasn't playing well when he was here. So there's 2 things that happen with that. Now you got to go into next year's draft, and I'm wholeheartedly believing that you have to draft the best available tackle with a first-round pick. So now it puts you in a different mindset. Now you say, okay, well, now we have to go get a tackle. We're going to have to potentially reach back out to Wyatt Teller, who has to make it through this year, to see if we can at least keep some continuity inside to pay him. And now you dip into, well, if we don't have the quarterback that we want that's available on our board, are we now reaching for a quarterback? Are we reaching for a guy that we're going to reach? And one of my worst fears is talking yourself into a guy that they gave you all that you needed to know. Before the season came out, Cade Klubnik was the guy. Turns out that was laughable. Arch Manning was the guy. Turns out that was extremely laughable. Now you talk yourself into Nussmeier. You talk yourself into some of these other guys. And I like Lenore Sellers' athleticism, but can you get that off in the league? I'm not, hey, listen, you can't pull screens down and just run over people. I don't care if you're 6'4", 2-something. I done seen 6'4", 200-some pounds guys not be able, his throwing needs work. His passing game needs work. I seen him against South Carolina State at HBCU team, and he was not balling. At the end of the day, you're going to need somebody that's a for sure thing if you're going to take that first-round pick. Now, even if you do get that first-round pick, go ahead and let me talk to you real quick. What's the first thing that we say? Oh, first-round draft pick. First round. First-round pick. He's going to play more early than not because he's a first-round pick. Chances are if you drafted him that high, that means you've had a 3-and-something season and probably another 3 or 4 or 5 win season back-to-back. The pressure will be there to play. Guess what? If he plays poorly, he has already got a built-in excuse, 2 of the biggest ones in the game. No offensive line, no weapons. In order to get a weapon at receiver, guess what round you got to get him? Not the Jamari Thrash 4th, 5th, 6th. You got to get him in the first round. Or you're going to spend money, big money in free agency. But guess what? You ain't got no money. There's a guy named Deshaun Watson that's on your roster that you can't cut. So now you got 2 built-in excuses now because you don't have the offensive line at any of the positions and you don't have weapons. So now that's a 2 to 3 year process. 2 to 3 year process to get up and running. And then you got to take into consideration while you're doing all that, Myles Garrett is 2 years older. Denzel Ward is 2-3 years older. All of these things in conjunction with that, right? So this is the thing about punting. And I keep trying to tell people, when you keep punting, that tax bill is coming due. That tax bill is coming due. We already seen it with the punts earlier before. That tax bill came due in the form of Baker Mayfield, in the form of Nick Chubb, in the form of JOK. JOK was a stud for us, but you never know playing a savage game like football. You don't have the opportunity, and sometimes you don't even understand when one of your best players is going to get taken out and probably is likely to not play anymore. about that. That was just 2 years ago we saw JOK be one of the best defensive players. But that's the way the game goes. You never know when your snap is your last snap. That's why there's always urgency in the way I talk. Because all this 2 to 3 year prognostication in this year, next year, and 3 years, that don't work. It don't work. So as we talk about it, the DeJuan Jones injury has ripple effects. It had now you're going to have to use a first-round pick on that tackle. Some people say, well, you already knew you were going to have to use a high draft pick. No, that's what the evaluation is for. And that's why I tell you the evaluation process should start. For me, this is the last week that we play in the Joe Flacco veteran role. That's it. If you don't get it done with the Lions, sorry, Joe. I know it's a nice win, but Joe got to go. And with that being said, you never know when G. Bush might show up, radio, television, internet. But if you want the fresh cut on sports, the Barbershop is always available with the Clippers. Have a great rest of your evening. And as always, like I always tell them, go Browns.